Live from WTVO 17 and your home team. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
One man is dead, another recovering after being shot in back-to-back officer-involved shootings. A specialized task force is activated to investigate the incidents.
Officers are looking into what caused a deadly wreck early this morning in Rockford. We'll tell you what we know about the victim.
Plus, signed, sealed, delivered in pieces. A state line man vents frustration over his packages not being handled with care. The shipping service responds. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Eric Wilson. A task force is activated to investigate a pair of officer-involved shootings that took place over 2 days.
We told you about each over the weekend. The first incident happened Saturday on Bellwort Drive in Rockford. Officers were called to a home after multiple reports of domestic violence. A Winnebago County Sheriff's deputy shot and killed the suspect after he reportedly charged the officer with a metal pipe. Then on Sunday night, Rockford police officers attempted to stop a car, but say the passenger got out and ran. Investigators say an officer chased the man into a backyard on Illinois Street. Not much has been released about what happened, but we do know the officer shot him. A handgun and a laser sight were recovered at the scene. The 19-year-old survived the shooting.
The Winnebago-Boone County Integrity Task Force is investigating both shootings.
The process could take up to 6 months. Alexis Carpello learned more about the role of the task force. She joins us now live from the Winnebago County Courthouse. Alexis, what did you find out?
Well, Eric and Mimi, the Winnebago County State's Attorney updated us on the cases just a few hours ago, saying both officer-involved shootings are in the early stages of the investigation. So what we know so far is that there are two different squads within the task force investigating. The deputy shooting on Saturday is being led by a Rockford officer, and the city shooting on Sunday is being led by someone outside of the Rockford Police Department. There is dash cam video from that shooting, as well as body camera footage from the Winnebago County Sheriff's deputies during Saturday's incident. I did put a FOIA request in for that footage. Winnebago County State's Attorney Jay Hanley tells me plans to keep giving updates when he gets more information.
You know, I understand the public's interest in these cases. And again, I promise to be as transparent as we can be. But I think it's important to note that this is still an investigation.
Coming up at 6 on Eyewitness News, hear from the commander of the task force on what is left to do in this investigation. But for now, reporting live in Rockford for your home team, I'm Alexis Carpello.
All right, Alexis, thanks for that report. Illinois State Police say the suspect shot in a standoff with police in Lena on Friday has died. According to investigators, 52-year-old David Dieterman walked into Citizen State Bank with a gun. Stevenson County Sheriff's chief deputy says the suspect fired one bullet into the air outside the bank as police arrived. A couple of hours later, Dieterman moved about a block away near the railroad tracks downtown. That's when investigators say the suspect raised his gun towards officers. Police shot Dieterman. He was rushed to a local hospital where he died. ISP is still investigating.
One person is dead and a police officer hurt after a shooting this afternoon at a Tennessee high school. This happened at Austin East Magnet High School in Knoxville. Officers responded to the school for a report of a man possibly armed. When they approached the subject, shots were fired. The officer was taken to the hospital but is expected to be okay. Someone is in custody. No word yet on the name of the gunman or a possible motive. A Rockford cell phone shop is robbed by a man police say might have committed the crime before. It happened Saturday afternoon at the Cricket Mobile store on South Alpine Road. Investigators say this man walked in and told the clerk he had a handgun and demanded money. He took cash from the register and ran. Police say the man has a tattoo on his left hand, which is how witnesses described the suspect in last week's Aldi robbery. Anyone with information about either incident should contact police or Crime Stoppers.
A woman is dead after an overnight car crash in Rockford. This happened just before 2 this morning near South Main Street and Willow Run. Investigators say a single car ran off the road, hit a tree, and ended up in a ditch. The Winnebago County coroner says a 32-year-old woman was behind the wheel. She died at the scene. No one else was hurt. The victim's name has not been released. Police are also looking into a crash in Rockford over the weekend that killed a 32-year-old man from Chicago. This happened just before 1 a.m. Saturday on Barton Boulevard. Investigators say the car hit a tree before bursting into flames. First responders noted the vehicle had major damage and a man was unresponsive inside. Firefighters pulled the victim out of the car, but it was too late. The victim's name and cause of death will be released in the future.
Stevenson County investigators arrest a Freeport man accused of sexually assaulting several women over the weekend. Police say Lil Robert Adams assaulted 3 women over an 8-hour time span Saturday. Advocates with Voices of Stevenson County issued this statement. Ironically, this weekend's attacks fall during Sexual Assault Awareness Month. This is not how we intended to mark the month, but it serves as a stark reminder of how common sexual assault is in America. 1 in 3 women in the U.S. experience some form of sexual violence in their life, and 77% of rape victims are known to their attackers. Police say Adams knew all 3 victims.
When placing an online order, most of us expect fast, secure shipping.
But a State Line man says a local delivery driver isn't holding up his end of the deal. Michelle Rave joins us in studio. Michelle, this customer is very frustrated.
That's right. A Loves Park man tells me a postal worker has been carelessly mishandling his packages. A recent incident that was caught on camera has him saying enough is enough. This is security camera video from over the weekend at Troy Dixon's Loves Park home. It shows a postal carrier aggressively dropping a package.
It's been going on for a couple years, but like I said, he was just a fill-in at first, and we were just like, he's new, whatever. But then he became our full-time mail carrier probably within the last, I'd say within the last year.
According to Dixon, this isn't the first time he's had problems.
There's one where he kind of came up. I had some packages on the porch where he could have set them on top. He threw them down on the ground, kind of kicked the one underneath my steps.
After Saturday's delivery, Dixon said enough was enough.
And once I seen that, I'm like, I was taken back by it, you know, and I showed my wife and I'm like, look at this. She's like, oh my God.
Dixon took to social media to share his experience. To his surprise, he wasn't alone.
Lo and behold, it's not just me. Like you said, it's quite a few people in our neighborhood have problems with this guy.
I reached out to USPS for comment. In a statement, they said, quote, "We apologize to this customer for this failure in service. This is clearly unacceptable behavior that does not reflect the efforts of the thousands of professional, dedicated carriers in our workforce. We appreciate the customer bringing this to the attention of the local post office." Dixon hopes the Postal Service finds a solution before it gets worse.
I just hope the guy doesn't deliver my mail anymore. I mean, I don't want to deal with this every day, you know, every other day.
If you have mail delivery concerns, you can reach out to the USPS online or calling a customer care center. You can find out more about those details on this story on mystateline.com. Mimi.
All right, thanks, Michelle. Rockford schools are accommodating the portion of high school students now eligible for the COVID vaccine. Anyone 16 and older can get the shot. So RPS 205 is working with the Winnebago County Health Department to offer vaccination clinics for students and their families. Find a link to register as well as the clinic dates on our website, mystateline.com. A Minnesota community is on edge after the family of a 20-year-old black man claims he died after being shot by police.
After the break, police now say the shooting was an accident.
Temperatures for us made it into the upper 50s and low 60s. A little bit of cloud cover, but that is clearing out. Cooler pattern setting in this week. Find out the reason behind our cooling temperatures coming up in your most trusted forecast a little later.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team with Eric Wilson, Mimi Murphy, Sports Director Scott Leber, and Chief Meteorologist Candice King.
Police call the shooting death of a 20-year-old black man in a Minneapolis suburb an accident. Body camera video shows an officer firing what she thought was her taser, but instead police say she had grabbed her gun.
Violent protests followed overnight. This all happened not far from the courthouse where Derek Chauvin's murder trial is entering its 3rd week. Andrea Fuji has the latest.
Brooklyn Center Police releasing this body camera video of when police say an officer intended to use her taser and instead accidentally shot her gun, killing 20-year-old Dante Wright. Police say after Wright was stopped for a traffic violation Sunday afternoon, they determined he had an outstanding warrant for a misdemeanor offense. Police began taking him into custody. There was a struggle, and as Wright tries to get into his car, the officer can be heard yelling, "Taser, taser." But the chief of police saying the officer fired her gun instead. The officer heard saying she just shot him. Police never finding a weapon in Wright's car and calling the incident an accidental discharge.
This appears to me, from what I viewed and the officer's reaction and distress immediately after, that this was an accidental discharge that resulted in the tragic death of Mr. Wright.
The car continued to drive for several blocks before crashing into another car. Wright was pronounced dead at the scene, despite paramedics trying to save him.
There's nothing I can say to lessen the pain of Mr. Wright's family. What I can do is convey my deepest sympathies to the Wright family and be transparent with the information I'm aware of at this time.
Overnight, protesters took to the streets. At least 20 businesses were reportedly damaged or looted overnight as protesters threw objects at officers, jumped on police cars, and smashed windows.
We will do all that is within our power to make sure that justice is done for Daunte Wright.
Wright's mother said he called her as he was being pulled over.
And I heard scuffling, and I heard the police officer say, "Daunte, don't run," and then the other officer said, "Put the phone down," and hung it up.
That was Andrea Fuji reporting. Well, this afternoon's temperatures are holding steady as the sun goes down.
Things won't feel as nice as the week goes on. Candice times out the cool down after the break. Hope you can stay with us.
Now, your first warned weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Candice King.
Well, our skies are clearing out after a little bit more cloud cover we had earlier this afternoon. That a result of low pressure passing to the north, and that low will stay put over the next couple of days and kind of keep our temperatures a little on the cooler side here as we go through the mid to end part of the week. But we're clearing out, so with that, that means our skies will stay clear and temperatures tonight will drop back into the mid 30s. Now, today has been a little on the windy side. We've had that sustained westerly wind about 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting close to 30. Winds over the next couple of hours are going to stay gusty, but after sunset, we'll see that wind kind of subside a bit here as we go through this evening. We made it up to 60 degrees in Rockford. We're now at 58, 55 in Freeport, 53 in Monroe, and 56 our current temperature in Rochelle. 57 for Ben and South Beloit, our weather watcher checking in. Nice to have that wind, really, too, to dry things out from the heavier rainfall we had over the weekend and the drizzle we had late last night. 57 for Ken and Belvedere, 55 underneath a clear sky. Mike just north of Forreston, and Bob this last hour checking in here in Rockford at 59 degrees. Kind of felt a little muggy over the last couple of days, but with that drier air moving in, it'll kind of decrease those dew point temperatures. That low pressure system up to the north, we've got two low pressure systems actually working in conjunction. The one off to the east is the one that came through over the weekend. You can see all the rain associated with that. We've got another low pressure system up to the north. Look at the snow, though, falling across parts of the high plains and back through the Rockies. No snow for us, but those two lows are going to kind of work together to keep us a bit on the cooler side here these next couple of days and really kind of bring those temperatures down. And where you're going to most notice it will likely be Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday's highs could actually struggle to make it above 50 degrees, but we've got this blocking kind of jet stream pattern. We've got a ridge of high pressure off to the west, kind of two low pressure systems, one over the southwest and another one kind of situated to our east, and then blocking high pressure over Greenland. These blocking patterns are very hard to break, so that's why our weather these next several days actually going to stay fairly stagnant and cooler too, because with little intrusion of that warmer air from the south, we're just going to keep kind of bringing in that cooler air, so that'll keep our temperatures down. Now, the one thing with this blocking pattern, we're going to stay pretty dry, so little opportunity for any heavier rainfall coming up over the next couple of days. Now, as we go through the night tonight and into tomorrow, I think we'll see a mostly clear sky, but there is a cold front that comes in, and that'll be kind of that push of that colder air. Winds will stay breezy tomorrow from the west and northwest, again at about 25 to 30 miles per hour, so it'll feel cooler tomorrow. We'll likely end up underneath a mostly cloudy sky, and I cannot completely rule out a sprinkle towards the afternoon and evening. We'll keep that cloud cover around Tuesday and Wednesday, likely going to be a mostly cloudy day. Again, mostly dry, but maybe a sprinkle or two coming through for the afternoon. 36 degrees, that's where our temperature heads here during the overnight. Tomorrow we stay in the 50s, only up to 54. Some sun to start, clouds will increase, windy with that northwesterly wind. Look at that, 49 for a high on Wednesday, quite a difference from last week. Temperatures will gradually warm, guys, though, as we head in towards the weekend, getting closer to that average high of close to 60.
Glass half full, it's only one day of 40s, right?
But no 70s.
I'm trying to be glass half full.
Okay, I like
glass half empty, glass half full.
Scott's next to talk sports and give us his take on what the Blackhawks accomplished today with all their moves before the trade deadline.
And Scott has some thoughts on the 86-point barrage the East E-Rabs put up on Jefferson last Friday night in high school football.
Now, the Napleton Sports Desk with Sports Director Scott Leber.
The NHL trade deadline passed this afternoon, and the Blackhawks did make a flurry of trades, 4 in all, involving 4 other teams. Nothing here that'll have any of us planning for the Stanley Cup playoffs. What Stan Bowman did signal with his moves is that the Blackhawks are all in on the future, and they're not all in on the present, and they shouldn't be. This team isn't nearly good enough to compete for the Stanley Cup, even if Bowman had added a top-flight player or 2. What Bowman did was stockpile some more draft picks and add a couple intriguing young guys. One is forward Adam Gaudette, a former Hobie Baker Award winner in college at Northeastern. Another is current Notre Dame freshman Carl Rolston. The guys Bowman gave up in the trades were Matthew Highmore, Carl Soderberg, Matthias Janmark, and Madison Bowie. No frontline players there. The keys to these trades will be how well Bowman uses those draft picks that he's acquired. Harlem against Tonaniga was the biggest high school football game this past weekend in the Nick 10. But the final score that generated the most buzz was the one in the East Jefferson game. The E-Rabs defeated the Jayhawks Friday night 86-6. If you're thinking 86 points scored is a Nick 10 record, well, it is. So how does the game end up this lopsided? Did the E-Rabs run up the score? No, it was just the perfect storm. Jefferson was coming off a week off because its game the previous week against Auburn was canceled by COVID protocols, so the Jayhawks were rusty. The Jayhawks defense was already struggling. The Jayhawks gave up 42 points to Freeport in their first game and 30 to Guilford in their second game. They caught the E-Rabs at a time when the E-Rabs were red hot. The previous 2 weeks, East outscored Belvedere and Guilford 82-7. And it's not like East was throwing the football running up the score because the E-Rabs don't throw the football. On top of that, East coach Gary Griffin had his backups on the field for a good chunk of the game, and he wasn't about to tell them to go out there and just roll over. Those kids have the right to play hard when they get their chance to play. The 86-6 score doesn't reflect well on anyone, but in a crazy pandemic year, it's another indication that anything can happen. That's sports. We'll be right back.
First Warning Interactive Radar brought to us by Rockford Auto Glass and more. The cloud cover we had from earlier today clearing out this evening. This will leave us with a mostly cloudy sky as we go through the night tonight. Winds will stay gusty here through this evening, although they'll subside a bit here through the overnight. Temperatures down around 36 degrees. 54 for tomorrow. We'll start off with sunshine, but see some cloud cover build up for the afternoon. Gets a little windy again. Winds from the west and northwest at about 25 to 30 miles per hour. Just a slight chance we could see a sprinkle in the afternoon. But the numbers really take a dive heading into Wednesday. It'll be a cooler day. You'll need to have your jacket for Wednesday afternoon. Temperatures will slowly rebound. Little chance for rainfall this week.
All right, thanks, Candice.
And thank you for spending some of your time with us. Stay safe.